Hello friends and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another episode of Testing in Nutshell. This is Neeraj Kumar Singh and we are talking about X-ray tutorials. As a part of today's tutorial, we'll be looking into the second part of reporting of X-ray as a test management app and trying to understand how we can do better with our reporting matrices, including traceability, or talking about the coverage reports and how we can basically make most out of the outcomes for the reporting of the X-ray. Certainly, the reports are going to give great outputs at any point of time in terms of status update or in terms of letting our stakeholders know that where we are and how much testing is remaining at any point of time. With the same thought, let's get started and understand the remaining set of matrices and reports as a part of X-ray.
As a part of this tutorial, we'll be continuing ahead on our discussion with reports in X-ray, and here we'll be covering the remaining reports of X-ray, that is test coverage report, the test plan matrix report, and traceability report. In order to continue ahead and talk about the remaining reports, we'll be continuing ahead with the same section, which is to navigate on the left side by clicking on the reports, which will take you to the reporting section of Jira, and we can scroll further down to find out the X-ray section once again. And here are our remaining reports, that is test coverage, test plan matrix, and traceability. Let's have a look on the test coverage. If you remember our previous tutorial, which you covered quite a few earlier, like maybe 6 to 7 tutorials before, and we discussed about how to configure the test coverage. Now, given that you have configured a particular issue type like story to determine what is the coverage of a particular test. So once you have let X-ray know and you have mapped using the relationship in the linked issues that this story is tested by a particular test or a particular test set, you would find the output for them here. Now here you would find more options, including this analysis and scope of the environments, versions, and test plan to filter it, or you can even group them by priority, status, flagged, epic link, etc. Or you can even use them for flat or hierarchical structure. Flat is like inline, like one after the other, and hierarchical is more of like what you see on the screen right now. Let's have a look and try generating the report. Well, currently if you see, we have few of the executions with us, and few of the stories are mapped to those tests which we have created for those executions. Currently, this particular test coverage report is showcasing us what is the coverage based on the priority. And we have items, of course, for sure, but the priority being used is only 3 of them: highest, medium, and lowest, right? So again, considering 3 major primary parameters, here in medium tests, we have got some of the tests being executed and they have passed for the given story. There are 3 other tests in the medium priority which are kind of like prepared but not yet executed in any of the executions, and this remains uncovered. That means there are 3 other tests or 3 other stories which are created but doesn't have any test associated with that. So this kind of coverage report which pretty much will show us. Let's click on this and see if there's any kind of outcome which we can see at the bottom. Yes, exactly. If you highlight this blue color uncovered and click on this, you would see the statistics more about that what are those items which are not being covered as per the medium priority. So if you see requirements with priority medium and status uncovered. So there are 3 stories here, MFP 5, 14, and 15, which are summarized as so and so, and doesn't have any kind of test, any kind of executions with pass or fail status, and no sort of completions being measured. The moment you find this information, it would be a great help for you to understand that there are many such requirements which are not yet converted into test. More importantly, this is not traceability. Okay, we should not relate this to mapping the requirement with the test cases. This is a coverage report, and coverage report is more about how many tests have been written for a particular requirement. Now that is what the total test will show us here. For example, for this particular requirement, new task, I may have created 5 tests, out of which 2 have passed and 3 have failed. Now this is where it says that the 5 tests altogether, if executed and passed, would return 100% requirement coverage. So a coverage report is different than traceability. Traceability is a process of mapping a parent with a child, or a requirement with a test case. But coverage report returns you that how many tests have been written for it and what's their status, which in return tells you the overall coverage of an item. Now just for a quick review, I can change it by the status also. So once I change the status, I would see to do, backlog, done, and in progress, and number of the number here being displayed is slightly different. So you do have options to group them by in any particular manner. You can use impacts, you can use change reasons, flag, epic link, or anything which is flagged. You can go even by components, resolutions, etc. So make a try and see what best suits your expectation within the process and for your stakeholders. In order to continue ahead, we'll look forward to the next report which we have for our discussion. And the next report is Test Plan Matrix, which is another interesting report which will tell me the summarization of the test plans. Of course, don't forget test plan is the most high-level parent of the testing architecture. That means everything else, be it a precondition, be it a test execution, test sets, runs, would fall under a test plan, can be linked to a test plan, and together a single entity can report me the overall summary. Let's create a quick report and then we'll talk about what this final status have precedence over non-final. Let's click on the generate report here, and what do we see? We have got two plans with us, MFP43 and MFP44, where 43 is for the sprint 1 test plan as an example, and I have another test plan for the interface testing. If you observe sprint 1 test plan, it just have one test under it. Again, this is just a sample project team, so you can expect these kind of numbers, but in reality you would have more numbers, right? So currently assuming that it just has one test and which is in to-do state and has not been executed. So this is where it is summarizing everything about the test plan, that how many test cases are there, how many runs have happened, how many executions are associated. If there are defects, how many are open, how many close, what are the test types being displayed here. If you'd like, you can add more parameters from here or uncheck the parameters from here if you don't wish to see them. For example, I don't want to see the defects, then I can uncheck it and that will disappear from the columns, right? Similar way, if you talk about the MFP44, okay, I think I need to go back and change refresh or regenerate the report, because yeah, one way it works, the other way it doesn't. So let's come back here and quickly repopulate. Yeah, that's another important thing, team, to remember, that if you remove something as a column, that would take effect immediately, but to have it back you need to regenerate. Really? Why did I miss that? Let's give a moment. Okay, sorry, I was not scrolling here. So it has gone at the end. So if you look at this report now, test plan has great information. For example, on MFP44 we have 5 tests put together, 3 in to do, 1 in pass, and 1 in fail. This is again the summarization of the execution, runs, and test. We have a categorization by the test type, and there is also something called as a success rate being populated for these tests. So depending on the pass and the failures and to do, if you see out of 5, 1 have passed, so the success rate is 20%, right? 1 on 5 is 20%. And success rate by environments, again dev, nothing has been executed, so probably it is to do still 0%, and QA is the one test which we have executed. So if you see here, we have targeted 2 environments in our 5 tests so far, which is slightly incorrect because all your tests will have a target environment. It's not that you will just tag 1 or 2 tests with the environment, but the point here is you just executed them in 2 environments right now, maybe all 5 or just few of them. So this is our success rate and success rate by the environments as well, and again here defects, which would show the count of it, how many of them are open and close. So you can configure your columns right here by determining them and set it up. Now what exactly this checkbox stands for? It says final status have precedence over non-final. That means in terms of there are tests which are in progress right now, then the last status would be something which will be captured for this. If not, you can uncheck this and it will return you the current status whatever you may have. So right now we don't have anything ongoing, so it may not make an impact or not make a difference, but it's more about what status to display based on the ongoing activities. So this is where the final status have precedence over the non-final. Well, adding another one report which we have here with us is the traceability. Of course, I told you traceability is all about mapping requirements with a test or any other thing. So here we have done mapping for the coverage. So coverage is calculating the percentage coverage on the requirements, but here this is just showing you as per the icon the requirement being covered with test being covered with defects. So what is their mapping? So let's click on this and have a look on the report. The traceability report is just going to mainly showcase how things are linked to each other, okay, but may not measure the traceability. So let's have a look again. So click on generate report, and here you're gonna have the list of all the mapping done. So if you see this one column for requirement, second column for test, third column for test run and defects. So it's a complete end-to-end mapping that MFP28 is currently in the no run status and has got two tests. One is pass, one is to do, and not run is basically if you have any test in to do state. If in case it was failed, you will have the failed. If nothing test, no test exists, then you will have uncovered, okay? And similarly, not run, uncovered, not run, uncovered, right? So this is how it basically showcases the mapping done. So list of the tests will be shown here. Also the test runs will be shown here with the information that who executed it, which version you executed, the result viewer can be seen here, and the environment details and the final status of that run, because a test can be executed multiple times in different cases. Finally, if there are defects associated with any of them, you would figure them out right here in the fourth column. So this is just more about the mapping, right? Now you have some extra filters automatically created for you on top. For example, if you want to filter out only the OK ones, that is the pass, that means you got one test and that has passed, so that means everything is up to date, like it's working fine. Similarly, if NOK stands for the failures, so we don't have any failures as such. An interesting part is you do have a background color, which is very interesting to remind you that what are you looking at. So OK is green, no OK is not OK is red, which is failure, and not run is yellow, so it's just following the color code. So we got 4 requirements which is not run yet, and then unknown is anything which probably we don't have any status given to it, and no mapping has been done, just like uncovered, but you do not have any status for it. And uncovered is of course that these are the tests, or these are the stories which do not have any test associated with them. So this is what the traceability talks about. If you want to see the test runs, you can enable it or disable it. There's nothing more beyond this, so it pretty much remains in line with our understanding about the other reports which we just covered. So putting it all together, the reports are very helpful. Subjected, we know them, what exactly they are, and how they could be helpful for us to showcase a lot of status update and critical measures and matrices to our stakeholders, customers, management, anyone. So make use of these reports, build up a better repository, and help every individual understand that where are we as of testing at any point of time. So that's all from this particular tutorial, team. Should you have anything else, feel free to comment below. I'm always there to address your queries and answer them well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep understanding the context. Thanks for watching the video, team, and happy learning.